Hi, good morning. This is Paul Rowan with Texas Nativescapes, aka the Nativescapes guy. I'm out here in my backyard, which actually serves as a conduit of experimentation that is somewhat augmented from how it originally was established. So as you can see here, I have a mixed use of different types of motifs. Really keen on planters. That's one of my really big focuses of what I try to do on most of my projects. That being said, you can see I have a significant amount of planters here. And I think I have a little over 85, possibly 90, a tremendous amount. In any case, I wanted to invite you into my backyard because a lot of clients and people are asking me, what I do. So essentially, the gist is this. Texas Nativescapes, what we focus on is sustainable, drought-tolerant landscape designs and installations. My backyard per se is essentially a experimentation. It served as a laboratory for the last 6 years, basically so I could establish different things throughout and understand them over the test of time. One thing here that I want to point out is that we specialize in raised or elevated garden beds and these planters, as I mentioned earlier. This particular planter, among the others around, are high-fired outdoor ceramic planters. They are earthen-fired in an earthen kiln, if you will, for approximately about 3 weeks. The entire process takes entirely about a month. They're fired out at around 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,200 degrees centigrade. So what that translates to is they are long-term, they're affordable, they make excellent accent pieces for entryways, or if you put them sparingly around different zones within your garden. Another thing too here that we do is we specialize in hardscapes, and as you can see, there is an array of different hardscape type materials, from this decomposed granite, which is down here serving as a base. Now, one thing I want to point out here that's really important and I'm keen on is using this because it helps minimize weeds and other things. So there is a commercial grade weed barrier underneath. Now, this backyard per se is not really been, how should I put it? I have not done much to it since I've set it up. I deliberately did that because I wanted to show people how over the course of time a landscape will actually transform. So this landscape has been transformed over the years as plants mature, and it's also settled too. So it's not perfect, but it's intentionally done that way so people can see. What I did do is do it this way so when you see it, you can see that there's actually some settling on this decomposed granite here, and that's carried out throughout. So the decomposed granite will settle down over time. It compresses, it gets pretty compact. It's a great material to use, and I also integrated that in with some Texas native rock, as you can see here. That's one of the distinguishing differences between us and everyone else. With these plants that are here, over 80% of them have been rehabilitated. So when I did receive them and put them out, they were in just an awful state. So this is what is the result of some love and care and tenderness. As you can see, one of the things that we really specialize in is cactus and succulents. We have a mini variety of different types of agaves here. Great accent pieces in the foreground of a garden. And on that note too, there are over 30 species that will actually thrive in our zone. We're located here in North Texas, and theoretically we're actually in Zone 7. Some people will argue with that, but these plants are all sustainable. They're also all locally propagated here in our region to assure their survivability. Over here I've got a water feature, something else that we specialize in, and this is a great piece to have in a garden. Gives you a lot of ambiance, creates a vibe. Something else too that I wanted to point out is that This is an example of some of the stone that we use, which is a native stone, which I like to mix in with projects that afford the opportunity to utilize that. That being said, something quite interesting, as you can see here, this is a crude preformed piece of, it's actually a stone tool that has been used by Native American and indigenous people for literally thousands upon thousands of years. The reason I point that out is that with this particular rock border that you can see here, that is a Texas native rock, and mixed in or mired in with it is chert or flint, if you will. So again, re-embracing the naturally wild element, hence the name Texas Nativescapes. And you can see I've got this really nice stone retaining wall around this tree, which is another thing, something I want to point out. This is a fruitless mulberry, not particularly a tree that I'm very keen on. I deliberately did this in the order of trying to establish choking out the tree so I could replace it eventually with something else. However, as you can see, this tree is not responding to that approach very well, and it's actually thriving. So again, this is just an example in my backyard laboratory of what I do and different types of various plant species. Something else that I wanted to mention, this is really a low maintenance application, and that's what all of our projects consist of. In other words, I really do very little maintenance out here. All I have done pretty much over the course of the last few years is use a blower and a rake. It's not 100%, but it gives you a bit of another idea to understand some of the maintenance requirements. And this is really low maintenance, low watering demands, and so on. Over here in the greenhouse is where some of my agaves are that I propagate. As you can see, this is one of several locations that I have throughout. And some fertilizer. One thing on fertilizer that's really interesting are the numbers here. So in case you're just wondering, the 7 is the nitrogen. The higher the middle number is the phosphate. And then of course this can mean different things depending on how it's formulated. But the higher the number in the middle, such as this one is a 22, that basically will help plants bloom. So this is for flowering plants. The higher the nitrogen, this is better for like the greenery, the green effect, if you will, and that covers a little bit there. You know, my main aim here is just to give everyone a general synopsis of, you know, what we do, how we do it, and so you can actually peer into my backyard and see what it's all about. I work basically 7 days a week, so I don't have a lot of time to put into this place as I do some of my more distinguished and exclusive clients. So I'm going to take you out to the front here, show you some aspects of what I've done. And something interesting here that I've done is I've created, again, these motifs, which are just different examples of mixed-use areas within zones to give people an idea what you can actually accomplish with a thought out, planned landscape. I've got my organic gardening beds over here. I have not planted yet. I did that because I was concerned about the freeze. An old farmer once told me if it thunders in February, it'll freeze in March. So I withheld and resisted not putting in the vegetable garden, which will now be something I will be doing this weekend. Lovely irises over here. You can see this is another side of the front yard. It's really wild. It has not been manicured. I've just let it really go and do its own thing, which is another thing that we do on some certain projects of ours that require a more natural look. Again, embracing the Texas Nativescapes philosophy. Have a nice Japanese maple here. It's doing really quite great. This tree itself is fairly slow growing. It is about 10 years old, and it will continue to thrive in the condition that it's, an environment that it's in. So this is what we're all about. We're all about you, and we're all about embracing your lifestyle and creating an environment that will work within the framework of your ideas of landscape. We're not traditional landscapers. We're more or less like landscape architects, but legally we can't call ourselves that. So that's basically it. I apologize for the construction mess. It's a work in progress around here, as you can see. More examples again of some different hardscapes that we've done, and we can achieve that for you. And hey, check us out on Facebook, Texas Nativescapes. We also have a website, texasnativescapes.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, give us a holler, and we will be more than happy to consult with you and discuss your future landscape and gardening needs. And if you want to reach out to me directly, you can call me at 940-765-2760 or shoot me an email at Paul M. Rowan, that's ROWAN, at gmail.com. And again, thank you very much for your patience, your considerations, and taking a peer into what we do. And until next time, happy gardening. Enjoy this wonderful spring. Bye-bye now.